All right, guy. Okay, guys, I've got my magic glasses on this morning, which means that we're going into February. And what is February? It's a month of love, right? We just came off of our January project from the greatest salesman in the world, the 10 scrolls. And scroll two was what? Someone put in the chat, what was scroll two? What is scroll two? What was scroll title two? Who was participating in scroll two? Somebody put it in the chat or just unmute yourself and speak it out. Come on, you're breaking my heart. I'm taking the glasses off. That's it. Where are my black glasses? I'm changing glasses. Come on. What was scroll two?
So I had to take out my book. I think it's on chapter 9. I will greet this day with love in my heart. Is that it?
Jessica, I love you. Thank you. What is that behind you? Is that a background or is that real?
Oh, it's just the background.
Oh, it looked like it was real.
Virtually in a cafe. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks like a cool cafe. Yeah, scroll two. I will greet this day with love in my heart, and this is one of the things I want to talk about today. Is what does that really mean? And February, some will call it a month of love. With Valentine's Day, but one thing that we gotta, are you checking in today with this mastermind? Are you just checking it out? And this is one of the things that love does. Love always checks in. Love is always present. Love is fully present. But the ego, just checks things out. Maybe it'll strike my fancy, right? But these 10 scrolls, folks, December was the project of the Greatest Salesman in the World book, and then the 10 scrolls. And I will greet this day with love in my heart. Rhonda Burns, who wrote The Secret, everyone wants to know the secret. There is no secret. That's the secret. The only secret there is love, because when you read Rhonda Burns' follow-up book, The Greatest Power, it's all about love. It is scroll number 2 in living color, but it's that thick, and it's a beautiful book. But we don't understand this concept of love, and we don't understand the power of a mastermind yet. And the reason I know we don't understand the power of the mastermind yet, the little bit of participation we're getting in the community, the few people that have their cameras on in the morning, but I compliment all of you that are fully present right now, because love is always fully present. Ego is not always present. It's thinking about, oh, I got busy. Oh, I got to do this. Oh, I'm going to multitask during this meeting. That is the ego. Real pure love. And you're going to see it today, because we're going into scroll number 3, which I will persist. And it's going to be all about the power of the mastermind. I'm going to share my screen. And it's going to be about the power of persistence. But without love, you cannot persist. You will give up. The ego will convince you it's not worth it. Right? But soul intelligence is the one that will drive you to persistence. It will drive you to self-love. It will drive you to checking in, not just checking things out. Many of us have checked out our own marriage after 25 years. We're still checking it out instead of really checking in, right? Our careers. Well, I'm going to check out real estate, and they're gone. Just way too many people are failing. And that's not going to happen in this mastermind. I promise you. I love not my records. I could say, oh, I got the record of Paul Saperstein. I mentored him into the business. He does over 200 deals yet. It wasn't me. It was the mastermind that I had taken advantage of when I was a young man. It's the mastermind that got me to move from a high school dropout, a garbage man, and everything else. Used to sell drugs, blah, 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 to the highest levels and to the highest mountains in real estate, for in the career and investments and everything else. But it's also that what we're going to talk about that got me to roll down the mountain, then it get me rolling back up and then falling back down. But we're going to talk about all that today. But that scroll was so important. And for only one person to kind of strain it out of someone, I mean, I should have heard that. I will greet this day with love in my heart. You've got advantage of this mastermind. So I'm going to sell you today on this mastermind. And that I'm promising everybody that'll participate in this mastermind, get ready to have the best year of your career and of your life if you truly tap into the mastermind. Not because of Fred DeFalco, but because of all the masterminds that I have been exposed to all my life. So I'm going to run through this. The 920society.org, the mastermind that you all formed, because this started out, remember, 3 years ago with GPS. By the way, this is not an EXP meeting for my guests that come in. I love every single person. I have coaching clients outside EXP I wouldn't dare recommend EXP to, because it doesn't fit them. There is no one size fit all, and that's real love, right? That's real love. But the ones it does fit, it's one of the greatest real estate opportunities there are if you understand it. But if you just check it out, you're not going to have. But if you check in, you can make it work, and you can make anything work. But it's like Baskin Robbins. There's not one size fits all. But let me just go through these. Participation in a mastermind is the bridge between your vision and its realization. Now, here's the problem. Our visions are so screwed up. We do not have clear vision, right? A Course in Miracles, this is what A Course in Miracles is all about. It talks about we always seek to know versus to see. And if you're on this mastermind this morning seeking to know something, it's the wrong mastermind. I get people to see. I get Paul Saperstein to see he's capable of 200 deals. I get Jay DeFalco, my cousin, to see, not because I'm so smart, but because of all the masterminds I've taken advantage of. And he saw the fact he could go to 20 sales a year. He could then go to 40, and he could then go to 50. He could now do over 100 deals a year. He and his wife could be the most dynamic real estate couple, and they're making they're going to be into the millions of dollars the way they're going. I mean, someone who is running around cutting people's grass for a living. Come on, guys. Take advantage of the mastermind. Jay DeFalco drove me crazy. Oh, how about this? How about that? How about that? And I loved every second of it because he knew he could approach me as love, not just because I'm his cousin, but because he knew I operate out of soul intelligence, only because of what else I'm going to show you, my spiritual stupidity. So I want you to understand, stop everything you're doing right now. Don't open an email. Don't have another screen open. Turn your freaking phone off. Turn it upside down and tune in to your soul intelligence. That's where the power of love lives. That's where persistence lives. And that's where vision lives. Otherwise, you're going to be spiritually stupid. Now, I know that sounds horrible to say that, but stupidity is nothing more than ignorance. And if you're only halfway here, you're only going to get half of what the real message is, how to radically transform your life, right? And this is all about, this soul intelligence is so important. Spiritual stupidity is ignoring your inner voice. See, you won't tap totally into your inner voice. I won't be able to stir it up. Somebody else that participates with us today that I'm going to bring up on stage, you're not going to be able to tap into it fully. So your soul intelligence then suffers, and it turns into spiritual stupidity. The foundation of soul intelligence. Take one call about the mastermind. Let me turn this off. But understanding the inner wisdom, what's that little voice that's whispering in your head? Why is those voices that are the negative are louder than those that pull you to greatness? Why is it that your income maybe is not where you want it to be? Why is it that your relationship, whoever it may be with, is not as exciting and dynamic as that you would like it to be or it used to be at one time? What are all these things we go through as human beings? It's because we don't know how to tap wisdom. We don't understand the real true spiritual awareness. And this month, we're going through this whole thing about love, vision, and the persistence, because scroll 3 is all about persistence that I'm going to go through in just a minute. So the concept of love in soul intelligence is emphasizing self-love and its impact on time and career. See, if you waste time, you don't love yourself properly. If you wait, now, do we all waste time? Yes, I wasted 3 hours yesterday, on something that was but I chose it and I did it. I was human. Do we waste time on too much social media? Yes, we do. But I'm going to talk about the 80-20 principle in a minute. The greatest success is successful self-acceptance. And that's Brene Brown. You know, when you read her material, she's one of my masterminds. She's a mastermind I tap into. Loving yourself isn't vanity, it's sanity. Here's another person you could follow, women, ladies, Katrina Mayer. Loving yourself isn't vanity, it's sanity, but in a proper way. Like if you're not tuned in here fully, you're not loving yourself fully today. You're not doing it because now you're not really truly participating in a mastermind. Group brainstorm, real life scenarios where persistence led to personal breakthroughs. Put in the chat or unmute yourself and tell me one incident or two incidents or a year out of your career where you knocked it out of the park, or where a relationship, you healed a relationship because you were persistent. Give me an example of persistence in your life. And I want to see, I want to see 24 responses in the chat. Come on, let's do it. Give me one incident of where persistence led to personal breakthroughs, where maybe you didn't understand something. It could be health, you know, whether it gaining more health or whatever it is. Put it in the chat. Come on, let's go. Or yell it out. Just unmute yourself. If you're driving, unmute yourself. Give me one example of persistence. Someone said quit smoking. Okay, fantastic. I got back in shape, Dave. By the way, you ought to look at this guy. He's my mortgage partner. By the way, I'm going to just bring Dave up a little bit. He's my mortgage partner. It makes it available for me to be able to do more of what I do with helping people and coaching. Come on, I only got 3. Let's go, guys. Let's go. There's 24 of you. Speak up. Take your thing off mute. I got 1, 2, 3. I'm not accepting it. It's not acceptable. I'm not going to allow you not to love yourself more by either typing in there or unmute yourself. Come on.
Good
Annabelle.
morning, Fred. Good morning, Fred.
Hey, Annabelle,
Here
take names and numbers. Take names and numbers, okay? Because if anyone jumps off because I'm putting the pressure on, I'm coming after them. Go ahead. Who just spoke up?
Oh, it was me. Oh, go ahead.
Judith, go ahead.
I once finished a full marathon despite a very bad pain that I have on my knee. And, you know, I experienced my first panic attack ever when that was like 10 years ago. And I had the chance to go and finish the half because I have told everyone that I was going to finish for the full. Then I don't know why or how I did it, but I have, you know, between a panic attack, you know, I walk a little bit, but I was able to finish it up. And for me, it was, you know, there's something that I was able to do only with my.
What was the breakthrough? What did it cause you?
I was in pain, and my mind wanted me to go and finish up the half, but I managed to convince myself, talk to myself,
okay,
walk a little bit for a mile.
Persistence.
Convince myself, you know, that I could finish, go for the full, and I did it.
Fantastic. Viviana, quit smoking. Tell us about that quickly. What was the breakthrough? What was the persistence? When was that moment you knew that you were a non-smoker now? What was the breakthrough?
Well, to be honest, it was when I got pregnant. But a lot of women go back. I was smoking for 25 years or 30. A lot of women go back after giving birth. I didn't.
Okay, there you go. Now, see, giving birth is a spiritual part of our spiritual beings, right? We're human beings having spiritual experience. Birth is a spiritual experience because you're bringing a spiritual being into the world. So therefore, it motivated her enough, and then she had that breakthrough, but not going back, right? So that's persistence. Stay there. I got back in shape. Dave, say hello. This is my mortgage partner. Dave, is that Dave Long that said that? I got back in shape. Hey, Dave, say hello, man.
Hey, Fred, how you doing?
Yeah, flex that muscle. Look at this guy, man. He did get back in shape in a good way. Dave Long is with Nationwide Mortgage Brokers. They sponsor me. They enable me to keep building my 920 society because of what they do. They enable me to really give back to real estate people without having to charge a lot of the consulting fees and stuff. So, Dave, thank you guys for that. I really appreciate it. By the way, Dave, if you want to type your name and number in there in case someone has a mortgage situation that, you can help them with. And they're the best, Nationwide Mortgage Brokers. I had somebody that needed, you ready for this? They needed a $2 million loan, a developer builder, because his sister had walked out. and they needed to close. They were closing on a $5 million, $2.5 million. I'm sorry. They were closing on a $5 million deal. They needed it. Nationwide Mortgage Brokers. Listen, I got the call on a Friday night. From this builder in desperation because he was going to lose a $500,000 deposit plus $300,000 he had spent on. We got this done and we closed on Tuesday at 4 p.m. folks. So keep in mind, Nationwide Mortgage Brokers. But Dave, go ahead about the shape, getting in shape and the breakthrough.
Yeah, thanks, Fred. I mean, it really is that simple. I mean, I finally made that decision after how many times have we all tried to get back in shape, right? Where it's time, this time, January 1st, especially this month rolls around. And, you know, my blood pressure was getting up. All my health signs were heading in the wrong direction and I finally had enough. And, yeah, 4 years later, 50 pounds down and I'm still going strong.
Fantastic. And you know, Tony Robbins, I took advantage of his free training this week. You know, what he was pointing out to someone, the same thing, is that once you get the 60 days of persistence in a physical regimen, it becomes you. You own it. It's a part of your DNA. That's great, man. I'm glad you stopped by today. Thank you for being here.
Appreciate it.
So meal prep and exercising 5 days a week. When did that breakthrough come, Ilana? Or Elena, how do you pronounce your first name? I'm a gringo. I'm going to mess it up. She put it in the chat. Are you there? Elena Torres. Nope, she's not there. Anyway, she said meal prep and exercise 5 days a week. Got my real estate license after 7 tries. Ted, good for you, my friend. Good for you. You just kept going. Persistence. Now, look, folks, that's a mastermind. Authentic, transparent, and vulnerable. You know, he puts that out 7 times. Now, I'm going to tell you, 47 years in the business, I had over my career, I've had, you know, a couple dozen people that have had that situation where just testing wasn't. Out of those people, Ted, I'm going to tell you this, they seem to be more intelligent because they were going in and trying to figure it out and all that kind of stuff. So, but that's great. Persistence, learning more about selling land. Steph, tell us about that and educating the sellers and buyers. Why I too was learning about the process. Tell us about that. Did that result in a big deal, that persistence? Stephanie?
Good morning, Fred. Hey. Oh yeah, it definitely did. And
this for Stephanie. This is for all of you, but it's for Stephanie also.
I love it. I was like so sad when you took them off. I was actually on the phone. I was like, I gotta log into the meeting. And then I was like, oh my God, he has on the blue glasses. I gotta get off the phone. Because honestly, a lot of the things that you have preached to us, I'm putting once I learned that I put it in effect and I'm seeing the results. It's very exciting, you know, and it all boils down to love. And I also finished Green Lights, which was awesome, an awesome read. And I've already shared it with a lot of my friends that I just, you know, a lot of people, they shun on reading, but it just inspires you. And his story is amazing. He's a great storyteller. But back to one of the things that I learned with dealing with the land is not to shun away from something that I didn't understand. And in the same process, I was able to help my sellers to understand what's needed to, you know, just to get to closing and then also to protect the buyers too, and get everything that they needed so that they can, you know, bring it to their builders. And it's been great. Yeah.
Has anything closed yet?
I've closed already 2 lots in Wedgefield, Orlando, and I still have one that's pending and it's been delayed, but we're waiting on the CAD, which again is part of the process.
Right.
And then also have another one that's pending in Hernando, and I have 2 more lots active. So
80% of her psychology got her there. It only took about 20% of knowledge, right? She still doesn't know what she's doing. Am I correct, Steph? You still don't know what you're doing.
Correct.
My first commercial deal, I didn't know what the heck I was doing, but I wound up with a $5 million property, and I don't know how I got it psychologically, right?
Yes.
I mean, skill-wise, I don't know how I convinced the seller and taking the deal, and it just put me into this big career that built a $35 million real estate portfolio. I didn't know what the heck I was doing, but I had the 80% of the psychology because of all my masterminds and people. And you said you came in and took advantage of this mastermind. And now it's leading into you stepping out. See, folks, that's what soul intelligence is all about, right? That's what Soul Intelligence is all about. Keep going, Steph. I want to see you do a 6-digit check. Have you done a 6-digit check yet?
Not yet.
Okay,
Not
you're
yet.
going to do one with your attitude, with your psychology. You will do a 6-digit check. That's coming this year, by the way, in this mastermind. How to get
And
how to
what's
Go ahead.
great too is that it's putting me in a position where I'm talking to people and connecting them with, like Tyler, the same guy that you actually referred me to get a new construction, a construct a perm loan. So
Good.
I might be in that position soon, but
Super,
it's just
super.
putting yourself out there. Thank you, friend.
Yeah, you're welcome. And Tyler, they've gone on to do some other things. So Dave Long and Nationwide Mortgage Brokers is now my partner. So take down Dave's number too, Stephanie, okay? Because they can do anything in many many states. The reason, Tyler, they were limited just to Florida, and I needed to step out with someone. Nationwide Mortgage Brokers covers pretty much the entire United States. Okay. Thank you. Hey, Rick, tell us about the 60 pounds, man, and then I'm going to move on. Rick,
Hey,
60
Fred.
pounds. Hey.
Yeah, how you doing?
Good.
My persistence kept me eating the right stuff. When I lost all that weight, it was a few years back. I was very overweight, and I lost over 60 pounds. It was about like 62, 63 pounds I
Wow,
lost.
good for you, man.
I'm just staying persistent in what I ate.
Yeah, you didn't lose it, Rick. You know what happened? You gained 60 pounds of you gained 60 pounds of health, right? You gained 60 pounds of health. That's what happened. Fantastic, man. Great for you. Is your life different because of that?
Oh, definitely, 100%. They had me to stop smoking as well. So
yeah, there you
all a
go,
good
man.
thing.
Yeah, and all these body issues that we have, folks, it's nothing more than a reflection of we're not listening to our soul intelligence. A problem body is based on spiritual ignorance a lot of times, right? It's because we don't have vision, right? We don't have vision of good health. We don't have, and a lot of times crises and disasters in our life that we haven't. I've done some things, and I know I've had falls, when I was rollerblading and stuff, and a lot of times I look back at my mindset. We crash, sometimes physically, we put in all this weight. It's all because of what's going on in our soul. We're not paying enough attention to our soul intelligence. When I put on that extra 10 pounds, of course I have a maximum because I won't tolerate it. But still, I remember when I put on an extra 30 pounds. I never hit 200, only 199. So I did have a barrier, but now I live within a range that is more for my height, my body, the way I look and feel. That's the main thing, right? So anyway, group range of really, okay, let's go on here. Yeah, the concept of self-love. Where was I? Okay, spiritual stupidity. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. The concept of emphasize self-love impact on your career. The greatest success is self-acceptance. Loving yourself is vanity and sanity. Real life scenarios. Okay. Setting personal goals that require persistence in the realm of self-love. For time's sake, I want you to really set a goal. And I'm going to give you these documents, right? That I'm going to go through in a second. And I want this to prompt you setting at least one goal and you sharing it within the mastermind community on Facebook. And next week you come back with this, setting personal goals that require persistence in the realm of self-love. If you have anything going on in your life, whether it's relationship, whether it's your finances, whether it's your bank account, and you're just accepting it as normal or it's just life, it happens. Folks, that is spiritual stupidity. It is not supposed to be that way. And I'm going to get into the scroll in a minute. Okay. I'm going to get into the scroll in a minute. So why am I? Yeah. Okay. There you go. Cool. So let me go over to the scroll 2, what this month is going to be about. This is really, really important. And we're going to give you this document because I have some notes in here. So the scroll 3, I'm sorry, I keep saying scroll 2. Scroll 3, slow down here. Why are you bouncing so much on me? Scroll 3, I will persist until I succeed. In the Orient, young bulls are tested for the fight arena in a certain manner. Each is brought to the ring and allowed to attack the pedicore, what do you call those? Someone... Picador. Thank you, Picador. This gringo's coming out who pricks them with a lance. The bravery of each bull is then rated with care according to the number of times he demonstrates his willingness to charge in spite of the sting of the blade. Henceforth will I recognize that each day I am tested by life in like manner. Now, when it says tested in life, it is a gift. See, when you have an argument, your soul intelligence should kick in with your spouse, or if you have an argument with a customer, if you feel anger is threatened value. It's soul intelligence that if you listen, telling you don't value yourself enough. So when you're tested by life, it's not a negative test. It's a positive test. Things are not happening to you. They're happening for you. You are today exactly where you have gotten yourself. Your thinking has gotten you, right? You are exactly where you have had a plan to be. You may say, no, I didn't. Yes, you did. But wasn't based on soul intelligence. And I'm going to share some of my spiritual stupidity. If I persist, if I continue to try, if I continue to charge forward, I will succeed. I will persist until I succeed. You've got to define what that means, and you've got to refine it daily. Annabelle, based upon, are you there? Annabelle, I want you to answer this. Based upon the 920 Society and everything that I've gone through in the past 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, of all the things that I've been doing and trying to pull out where I'm really going, if you had to put it all together, would you consider Fred DeFalco, just based on all the stuff, a failure or a success? Come on.
I will
Only
say
no. Don't be nice. Failure or success?
failure.
Thank you. Folks, this is real life. See, I didn't do this mastermind to help people succeed. You'll succeed if you go to McDonald's and work 15 hours a day and save money, invest it properly from what the world calls success. See, real success is the artful management of failures and setbacks. You see, I'm succeeding at the highest levels because I don't quit. I persist, and I'm always defining it, what it means, not based on I'm so smart, but based on that inner voice that keeps telling me you need to overeat because you're depressed. You need to overeat because of this. I go, well, wait a minute. That's the ego speaking, right? So I define it and I refine it constantly, right? And I succeed at the highest levels. I cannot fail. There is no such thing as failure. And you'll see this in the scroll. I was not delivered unto this world in defeat, nor does failure course in my veins. I am not a sheep waiting to be prodded by my shepherd. See, a lot of people show up on the mastermind and they want to be prodded like a sheep. See, if you don't have your camera on, if you're multitasking right now, you're a sheep. You're acting like a sheep right now. The damn world can wait. The seller can wait. You're more important, not Fred DeFalco, not the other people on the call, not your participants, but you. That's self-love. I am a lion and I refuse to talk, walk, to sleep with the sheep. You're sleeping with sheep, maybe. You may say, yeah, I know I've been trying to get rid of him, but he won't leave. I'm not talking about that. You're not helping them become a lion, or you're not helping her to become a lion, or you're trying to change someone you're not supposed to. I did that for 40 years. Some of you know my story. Married 40, divorced 7, tried it for 2, it failed. Now we're back and I rescued her off her hospice bed. And I've never been more excited, more in love, more thrilled. I can't wait to be with her. And she's still the same person I tried to change my first 40 years. Because I was spiritually stupid. Even though I was a theologian, even though I studied scriptures, even though I studied the Quran, even though I studied life and I studied every self-help book there was, because not until I was 62 did I really realize what soul intelligence was. And I had to go inside. I had to figure out that little boy. I had to figure out what was going on. And then I started exposing myself much more to different masterminds. I will hear not those who weep and complain, for their disease is contagious. Let them join the sheep. The slaughterhouse of failure is not my destiny. I will persist until I succeed. The prizes of life are at the end of each journey, not near the beginning. and it is not given to me to know how many steps are necessary. Someone says, Fred, how you doing? I said, man, I'm just so busy learning new dance steps. They go, oh, okay. I said, yeah, I'm learning. Oh, you did? Yeah. You know, God makes the music. I have to learn to dance. And I don't like the music sometimes. I don't like the music necessarily. But that music turns into be beautiful music once I realize the dance steps I need to take. So we're here as the effect, not the cause, right? God is the cause of all. Life is the cause of all. The universe, whatever you're comfortable in saying, that's the cause. I'm just the effect. So in a mastermind, you will learn how to create vision for yourself. Many steps are necessary in order to reach my goal. Failure I may still encounter, not may, you will encounter at the 1,000th step. So I could be so far along. I'm 5 years along in this mastermind business, and now I've got the 920 Society. I'm 1,000 steps into this thing, and I still have some failures going on. I can't get people to turn the cameras on. I can't get people to comment in the community. I can't get people to understand the power of this mastermind yet. Yet success hides behind the next bend in the road. Never will I know how close it lies until I turn the corner. Always will I take another step. If that is of no avail, I will take another and yet another. In truth, one step at a time is not too difficult. I put in here, life by the inch is a cinch, by the yard it is hard. That's Ziegler's comment, I think. I will persist until I succeed. Henceforth, I will consider each day's effort as but one blow of my blade. Remember the bowl. One blow of my blade against a mighty oak. The first blade may cause not a tremor in the wood, nor the second, nor the third. Each blow of itself may be trifling and seem of no consequence. Yet from childish swipes, the oak will eventually tumble. Folks, I could give a 5-year-old a hatchet and put him in the forest on the mightiest oak tree. And if I fed him and tended to him and cared for him, but every day I said, go out there for at least 2 hours, and I want you to just chop away as much as you can, eventually that oak is going to fall. So it will be with my efforts of today. Now, I want you to study, when you get this document, I want you to study the Pareto rule, the principle, which is the 80-20 rule. Jim Quick, I don't know if he's one of your mentors or not. He should be. You should follow him. You should watch his YouTube videos, blah, blah, blah. He talks about, here, I'm going to play it. It's very short.
The 80-20 rule. What is it? It means 20% of your efforts give you 80% of the rewards. It means that maybe 20% of your customers or clients give you 80% of the revenue. It means that 20% of your studies is actually giving you 80% of the comprehension. And you find that this number is pretty consistent. So what's the magic in this? Working smart versus working hard is focusing on that 20% that gives you most of the rewards, as opposed to getting really good at the 80% that's only going to give you 20% of the rewards. The 80-20.
So if you're on the mastermind right now and you're multitasking, you're working hard. If you're paying attention, full attention, and you're really saying, hey, who am I? What am I how am I responding to what's being said right now? Now you're tuned into your soul intelligence, so you're working smart. And you'll pay off more if you don't get on a really good mastermind. And if a mastermind is not serving your soul intelligence or your psychological, the 20% part of you, get off of the mastermind. Just drop off. Just say, hey, it was a pleasure being here, but I need to run. Don't act like you're here, right? Because that you're not participating in the law of the 80-20 rule. So please study that, okay? That is really an important rule. I will be likened to the raindrops which washes away the mountain, the ant who devours a tiger, the star which brightens the an ant can eat a tiger, right? When he gets into a mastermind and they all work together, ants are the greatest example of a mastermind. The star which brightens the earth, the slave who builds a pyramid. I will build my castle one brick at a time, for I know that small attempts repeated will complete any undertaking. People say, Fred, if someone looked at my schedule, they say that the poor guy, he ought to be committed. He's a maniac. No, I'm not a maniac. I'm just a determined, and I know I'm listening to my soul intelligence. My soul intelligence tells me sometimes at 2:30 in the morning is the greatest time for me. And I get the greatest messages at 2:30, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. That doesn't fit everybody. Sometimes people get them at night. but you got to pay attention. That self-love, listening to that inner voice and that negative voice, because the negative voice is the ego voice, which then it forces you to tap your soul intelligence. I will persist until I succeed. I will never consider defeat, and I will remove from my vocabulary such words and phrases as quit, cannot, unable, impossible, out of the question, improbable, failure, unworkable, hopeless, and retreat. Now, sometimes you need a break. Yes, I just gave somebody a coaching client advice. She's taking a sabbatical, 3 week sabbatical. She needs to. She's in midlife. She's had crisis after crisis, blah, 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 blah. So sometimes that's not a retreat, though. She's going to make a life plan. We gave her a life plan to take with her, and so on and so forth. So, but these words here are for fools. The same client, right, was talking about how bad things were, and she even sending out Christmas cards, and all her people, you know, that she has on her Christmas card list, her 125 people, they probably, you know, thought she's a, you know, I forget the word she used. She says, you know, they're probably thinking so ill of me. I said, hold on 2nd. Are you really believing and thinking that one person on your list said, I can't believe her, she did not send me a Christmas card? Hell no! Not one of them thought that way, but yet this is what we believe sometimes. So see, it's our belief system, right? That's why persistence in the soul mind, the soul intelligence is so important. We believe so many things about ourselves, and there's the stories we tell ourselves. I will avoid despair, but if this disease of mine should infect me, then I will work on in despair. So in other words, he's going to continue even if he's in despair. I will toil and I will endure. I will ignore the obstacles at my feet and keep my eyes on the goals above my head. One of the challenges is we don't have written goals. We need to do that. For I know that where the desert ends, green grass grows. The word try or tried is the worst of all curse words in the world. Also the word why. Why am I so broke? Why is it that I am under pressure? Why is it I can't get a break? You know, why is it? You know, the soul always asks what, not why. The ego always asks why. Why me? The soul says, why not me? The ego, why me? The soul, why not me? And this is what he's talking about. I will persist until I succeed. I will remember the ancient law of averages, the 80-20 rule. I will bend it to my good. I will persist. Some of you still don't have written goals for 2024, and you wonder why it's not working. Your soul is so full of integrity because it is tapped by divine intelligence. Divine intelligence, DI, taps into your SI, your soul intelligence. And guess what? If you really don't believe it enough to put it in writing, you're not going to be rewarded with it. You're not going to get the persistence that he's talking about. I will persist with knowledge that each failure to sell will increase my chance for success at the next attempt. Each no, nay, I hear will bring me closer to the sound of yay. Each frown I meet only prepares me for the smile to come. Each misfortune I encounter will carry it in the need of tomorrow's good luck. I must have the night to appreciate the day. I must fail often to succeed only once. I will persist until I succeed. I will not. And Og Mandino, where she was still around, I would write him and go, Og, what are you doing with this? I will try and try and try again. I wrote, yuck, not try. I will artfully manage every failure and setback. By the way, who invented the light bulb, everyone? Somebody, put it in the chat. Who invented the light bulb? Somebody, take yourself off mute.
Edison.
No! See, we walk around thinking we know things. He didn't invent the light bulb. You know, and then there's stories going around that he had 25,000 tries that he tried it, and a reporter asked him, how's it feel to have failed 25,000 times? He said, I didn't fail 25,000 times. I just found 24,999 ways it wouldn't work. And that's what I do, Annabelle, right? I just find ways it won't work. I just keep going at it. So he persisted, but he didn't invent the light bulb. He only perfected the filament in it. It's really Tesla, Nikola Tesla, that they claim that did it. And then other people give credit to other people. There were already light bulbs, but they weren't working. So see, we go around sometimes thinking we know, and we don't. Study it. Sonny, who invented the light bulb? Each obstacle I will consider as a mere detour to my goal and challenge to my profession. I will persist and develop my skills as a mariner develops his, the person running the boat, the captain develops his by learning to ride out the wrath of each storm. We get a little storm, instead of letting it go push us inside ourselves, we go, I can't handle this business. I got to leave. This is crazy what's going on, right? Instead of letting it go inside of you, say, I just haven't gotten good enough yet. My coaching that I was trying to build, I didn't get the kind of clients I needed to be able to step back on some of the other things I was doing. But I just let it go inside and said, what is it I am not yet tapping? And this is where the 920 Society came from. Henceforth, I will learn and apply another secret of those who excel in my work, which each day is, when each day is ended, not regarding whether it has been a success or failure, I will attempt to achieve one more sale. When my thoughts beckon my tired body homeward, I will resist the temptation to depart. I will try again. I will make one more attempt to close with victory. And if that fails, I will make another. Never will I allow any day to end with a failure. Thus will I plant the seed of tomorrow's success and gain an insurmountable advantage over those who cease their labor at a prescribed time. Yet others cease their struggle, then mine will begin, and my harvest will be full. I will persist until I succeed. Nor will I allow yesterday's success. Here's a problem, folks. This is where I became spiritually stupid. I hit a $35 million real estate portfolio pretty quickly, and I wound up leveraging way too much, right? And that came from spiritual stupidity. If I would have just taken the time and participated in more masterminds, but I wouldn't have had that. But now that experience has served me more than ever. I've saved more multi-millions of dollars of mistakes since my own personal one. So I said, now what do I do and go take it? Just like, Frank McKinney, who is, a multi-gazillionaire who now builds houses in Haiti. He takes his success. I took all my failure to save other people, right? Nor will I allow yesterday's success to lull me into today's complacency, for this is the great foundation of failure. I will forget the happenings of the day that is gone, whether they were good or bad, and greet the new sun with confidence. That will be the best day of my life. So many of us are dragging baggage from last week, the week before, last month, a year ago, 10 years ago. Put the baggage down. There is no past. Of Course in Miracles says there is no past. There is no future. There's the only thing that exists today is the present moment. What am I doing right now? So long as there is breath in me, that long will I persist. Study Og Mandino's the end of his life, how active he was up all the way into his late 80s. For now, I know one of the greatest principles of success. If I persist long enough, I will win. I will persist. I will win. One of the greatest presidents, I meant to pull that quote, I forgot, is Calvin Coolidge. Now, I'm not going to put these in the chat and download and all that. I'm putting them in this community because this is where I need to get your participation. I need you to come in. I need you to say, hey, great meeting today. Here's what my takeaway was. Hey, great meeting today. Here's what I'm going to do different. Or, hey, this was a great meeting, but man, I am so frustrated. I am so lost. I am so depressed. Is there anybody in here who wants to team up with me? Folks, my goal for this community by 2035 is 9,200,000 members, but not people to come in and just, oh, okay, I'm just going to see what it is. They're checking in. I mean, just checking it out. I want people to check in, like Frank Hopkins. Frank, are you on the call? I don't think he made it. But he is such a reader. Readers are leaders, right? Frank is always leading. His financials will show that. Why his financials are in such great shape, because he's a reader. And again, it's not the reading, he's masterminding. When you read a book, you're masterminding. When you watch a YouTube video of Jim Quick, you're masterminding. Right? When you go to attend a free Tony Robbins seminar, which I posted in here, I had 3 likes on that thing, and no one popped in and said, hey, I'm gonna start wherever it was. I had Tony Robbins on here. This girl here, oh my gosh, what 90 some years later, she got a house back that they burned down on her. These stories, I don't post them in here just because they're nice stories. I do it because it awakens soul intelligence. Tony awakens psychology intelligence. He doesn't quite get into the depth of the soul intelligence, soul intelligence versus the spiritual ignorance. But all the stuff he does, and the reason he is such a master, and there's so many great responses and people's lives are transformed, is because everything is 80% of it is psychology, 20% is effort, 80% is the mindset, 20% of the will set, right? And the belief systems. And so I want you to come here. We're going to, at the end of each meeting, what we're going to do, we're going to tag everybody who was on the meeting and say, hey, thank you for being in the meeting. Here are the documents that we covered today. And you're going to come in here and get it. If you're not, Annabelle, can you put this link in here? I got it right now. I'm going to put it right in the chat. If you're not a member yet, if you're a guest on here, the 8:30 calls are for real estate specific. My 3 o'clock call up here, if you want to invite friends, because where I'm taking this, if you look here, this is just a 30-second clip. Let me play this. AI, no matter where you turn, it's AI. I love my AI. It is helping me so greatly in my business and my devices. So here's what I want you to do. If you have a friend that's struggling, non-real estate, right? You ought to tell them about Wednesday Wisdoms. I'm going to be, last week I was on the call. This just started last week. No one showed up. And I figured that. And I may have to do that for 3 months. But guess what? I am persisting. I will be there every Wednesday at 3 o'clock. I don't care if one soul gets on and they're looking for some soul intelligence. They're looking for inner wisdom. I'm there. Okay. So make sure you connect in this mastermind, because all of us have the same deep down inside the skin feeling that we want to be of help. Someone asked Tony Robbins the other day, he said, we're so consumed in finding our purpose, right? The why. He said, there's too many people talk about the why. I say the same thing, that you are the why. You are the why. And he said, if I had to boil down my life purpose into one thing, and my why, if I was forced to do it, it's to help. And that's every living human being. See, once you realize we're spiritual beings having a human experience and you really embrace soul intelligence, you'll quit internalizing everything. You'll quit externalizing everything. In other words, oh, if I just had a new car, oh, if I just had more money in the bank, oh, if my spouse would just be different, if they would stop doing this, oh, if I could just get, blah, 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 blah. And we externalize everything. Once I get this, then my life is going to be meaningful. My life is going to take on different. That's BS. That's a bad belief system. The eternalization doesn't do it. Now, Tony talks about mantras and, and self-talk and all that. That's exactly right. You need to defeat that ego. But when you externalize and thinking something outside is going to help you, wrong. If you internalize and go, ooh, wow, let's say if you're dating someone or you just whatever got engaged, and you just say you internalize it so much, as soon as they let you down, guess what? Boom, right? Or if you get this big listing, you think you have the sale and the closing fails. So you don't internalize anything. You can't. You always eternalize everything. You're a spiritual being having a human experience. And in this document, I have the link to the soul intelligence, the spiritual side of success, what it is. So that's going to all be in that document again. And folks, we got to tune in to the scrolls this month. We got to all participate, encourage, spur one another on. The scriptures, whether you believe in them or not, or whether they're inspired by God or not, it doesn't matter. But the mantra's in there, if nothing else. It says that we should be consumed with spurring others on to love and good works. So if you just show up and you take a drink here and you just check it out, not really check in, and you take a drink, and then you leave without telling how refreshing that drink is to encourage other people, then you're not really getting the full benefit. So when you come in here and you really participate and you show up on Wednesdays, so we're going to, oh, here's another, oh, $1 Million Weekend. Look at that. There's another book you just posted, Frank. You know, you come in and you participate. That's why I'm going to put all the documents in there. I'm going to tag every single one of you in here just to remind you this is here. What I'm looking for when you read the description is when you have a discouraging moment, do a quick 1 minute, 2 minute in your car saying, oh, hey, mastermind group, not Fred. This is all off us collectively. Hey, mastermind group. Oh my gosh, I just had the worst experience, right? Put it in there. Or you just do the land deal, Stephanie. You do the land. Hey guys, stretching myself. I did this. Boom. Is anyone else doing land deals? I'd like to network with you. This is where none of you will be earning less than 6 digits a year. And some of you, like Jay DeFalco and Paul Saperstein, you'll be moving to 7 digits a year. If you really tap in to that soul intelligence and you participate as a true mastermind. So we'll put all that in there. Let me stop share. Please commit to scroll 3 this month. And if you haven't practiced scroll 1 and 2, go back and read them again, especially scroll 2. I will begin this day with love in my heart, because that's what it's all about. It's self-love, tapping your soul intelligence, tapping that voice. And when you start getting those voices in your head, you're just not enough, or gee, why is this working? Oh my gosh, if you feel discouraged, 1 ounce of discouragement, 1 ounce of discouragement is your ego operating out of fear instead of your soul operating out of faith. I'm telling you, if you have 1 ounce of discouragement, look up into the sky and say, wait a minute, I don't have failure in my veins. I don't have discouragement in my veins. I'm here to be a light. I'm here to be a part of this bigger mass that we call life, right? And then I'm an eternal being. Folks, I tell everybody, and I say it over and over again, I'm going to say it one more time. If you're 50 years old and you're discouraged, did it bother you 55 years ago? Is it going to bother you 55 years from today? So then you're not discouraged. It's just what you're believing. It's just what you're subscribing to. It's just your story that you're believing, right? So soul intelligence is all about nothing being able to stop you. It's about being able to persist, and you do it on autopilot. You do it on autopilot. So let me open it up. I know we went on. I had a guest, Dave. Did Tony make it, or Ben? My title partner. Okay, they didn't make it today. I thought they were going to be on. Hey, Dave, thank you for showing up. I appreciate you. Guys, tap into Dave if he can be of help to you, because they support me and what I'm doing in the mastermind. I just appreciate them so much. And anybody speak up, comments, breakthroughs. How many of you feel like you want to participate in the real true mastermind and take advantage of the February project? Anybody? Are you in? Are you in? Viviana, all right. Somebody else, speak up. Hopefully you're not here checking it out. Hopefully you checked in. You left all your baggage at the door. Remember last week I had the mask on, the ski mask when you showed up. I have one. I'm printed, a mask remover. I'm here to remove your damn mask. I don't want you to wait till you're 62 years old to discover what I discovered. Okay, so I'm here for you. You got my calendar link. Annabelle put my calendar link in there. You've got 15 minutes with me anytime you want, but take advantage of the mastermind. Do a little 1 minute video and say, man, I'm down. I'm discouraged. Who else is out there that's 30 years old or 40 years old? Or who's out there that's going through a change in life? Let's really be a family. That's why I made it a private group. Okay. So anybody else?
Hey,
Fred. Go ahead, Ted.
Yeah, where would you pick up the that scroll that you just said?
We're going to put it when we're finished every meeting from now on. Give us 10 minutes. Annabelle and I, we're going to be ending the call. We're going to go into the 920 Society. Are you a member of that? I think you are.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. It'll be in there within 10 minutes.
Okay.
Anything I presented.
Okay.
And you're going to be tagged in it as well. I'm going to say thank you to every single one of you that showed up. And then I'm going to say, hey, here's the information that we covered today. Any comments, any input, any, encouragement for others. But I really want to see you guys really act like a family. And there's people out there going through what you're going through. There's people out there that have succeeded and defeated what you're going through. But you gotta really be real. You gotta be authentic. You gotta be transparent. You gotta be vulnerable. You gotta show up, because the word vulnerable is just meaning that you're opening it up that to your invulnerability, because you know deep down inside you're feeling vulnerable, but you know that there's something inside of you saying you're really invulnerable, because we're spiritual beings having a human experience. All of us are going to succeed at going back to where we came from, which I say is love, right? We came from love, we're going back to love. Forget the theology just for a second. And if you don't believe that, I know one thing that we all are going to be cash out on is the end of this body. We know that. So that's soul intelligence, folks, is to eternalize. And the way you eternalize is telling people the truth, being authentic, being transparent, being vulnerable, and showing up and taking advantage. There's not one person that I meet, whether they're on death row or I'm on a jet, I've flown on jets with billionaires, is that it's the same thing. Their heart says the same thing. There's head messages say the same thing. What's my purpose? Why am I here? What am I doing? You know, why am I not fulfilled yet? Why? Because, you know, we just don't listen to that soul intelligence. We just listen to the ego intelligence over and over and over again. But thank God for all of our masters from the very beginning, divine intelligence, that he spoke to all these people, whether it's Og Mandino, Tony Robbins, Fred DeFranco, all of us, that he just keeps bringing back us to soul intelligence. So when you go through that stuff, the spiritual side of success and soul intelligence, that chart in there about we got to get radical. There's 65% of the people in the United States earn under $100,000 a year. 65%. I don't want you to be one of them. You know, 1 in 2 people, 1 in 3 people, I think it is, 1 in 3 women are going to develop cancer. It shouldn't be you. I just had a friend die. She was in the hospital for 5 months, and I'm sorry, 2 months, and she had to go to rehab for 3 months. 81. She died on her 81st birthday. And the life that she lived, because she was never taught soul intelligence. And as I walk through the halls, every time I have to go into these places, I look at these people hanging over and drooling. And some of these places are nice places. They're not cheap. The one she was in is pretty nice. And I look and I go, how did they end up that way? And a lot of them, when you talk to them and you talk to the nurses, they don't have anyone visiting them. How did they end up that way? They listened to their ego intelligence more than their soul intelligence. That's the answer. So let's win at this thing, man, that we call life and business, and let's win at the highest levels and persist. Okay. All right. It's the after party, they call it. Anybody here, any comments, any ahas? Anything that we should do, any suggestions for the community by the 920 Society? It's your community. I want you coming in there saying, Fred, can you still do more of this? Or Fred, I want to start a group. I want to start. I'm 55 and, you know, and I'm worried about my retirement. I want to start a group, fear of retirement, you know, group, or whatever you want to call it. I want that community to be yours. Okay. Anybody?
Fred, I got a question.
Go ahead, Steph.
What's next on our list to read?
What's next? What?
On our list to read? I know that we went through.
We've got the I didn't put a book in there this month. Frank Hopkins has a few in there. I would just really go back and look at the scrolls, you know, especially the other one. Just keep working on those. And as far as reading material, oh my gosh, it's look at some of the YouTube links I have there. Study Jim Quick, right? Oh my gosh, what a master this guy is at memory, right? So that I didn't have a book in there this month.
Okay, what's his name? Jim who? Schmidt?
Jim Quick. Yeah, Jim Quick. Yeah, Kwik. He's on that document. Annabelle and I are going to jump on Zoom now, and we're going to post all the documents and make sure they're in there. And we're going to tag each of you. Okay. Great question. Anybody?
Thank you.
Anybody read a book that you want to recommend? Like Frank Hopkins, I mean, he must read a book every 3 weeks. He's always got a new book going on, and so study Frank Hopkins and follow Frank. He's one of the members in the community.
The Green Lights from Matthew McConaughey is very good too.
Oh my gosh, Green Lights. is
Yes, yes.
If you haven't read Green Lights or listened to the Audible, I like the Audible because yeah, I do a lot of walking, right? And when I walk, I want to program my head, and I listen to Matt McConaughey because he reads it himself, which was really cool. Cool. All right. Well, listen, guys, thank you so much. Tiffany, where are you? Listen, not farewell, but it's like a commencement, right? So how many of you appreciate Tiffany and what she's done? Give her an all right.
I love you guys.
So here, Tiff, for you here. There you go. For all of you.
Thank you.
All right, ciao. I'll see you in the community. Be working in the community. Stir people on to loving good works, okay? Ciao.
Have a good day, everyone.
And